All right, everybody. Hello and welcome to our Learning Together series. I'm going to share my screen. It's awesome to have all of you here. You guys see my screen, right? And I always do this with my class a little bit.
Yes, we can see it.
Awesome. All right, so welcome everybody. Welcome to this amazing event. We are hoping it's the first of a few meetings where we all learn together. This is our agenda. We're gonna tell you about what this is all about. We're gonna tell you who we are. We're gonna talk a little bit about artificial intelligence and how we're gonna learn together. Some of the roles that we're thinking about and how we learn together and what we're gonna learn together. Our process, next steps, and Q&A. And please feel free to put your questions on the chat or raise your hand as well. But this is what we're doing. We're learning together, and we thanks for joining us. What we promise is to be an exciting and insightful exploration into the world of AI. And this is a learning experience where each of us together will dive into a dynamic and continuously evolving topic of AI. And our approach is fundamentally collaborative. So we're going to do this together. Each of you will not only gain knowledge, but also contribute to the overall learning experience. And we're going to be talking about different topics in AI, topics that you want to learn. And we did receive some of the feedback from the survey. And we can go as deep as you want on each, or as simple as a meeting of, one meeting or so about a topic. This is an experiment in learning. So this is the first time we're doing this as an association with the main goal of learning together. And this idea came about a few months ago. And Ariana and myself, we did a presentation last year about AI and about how to use it practically. And I am Ariana. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you, Ariel. So, hi, my name is Ariadna, Ari for short. Ariel is also Ari, so this is kind of funny or weird. I am from Mexico City. I am the chair for the Latin America chapter. 3 years ago, I moved to Miami, and I'm very happy living here. So a little bit about me. I have a BA in actuarial science, and I did an ALM in management and finance at the Harvard Extension School. And why I'm very interested in AI is because I have a startup. It's called Little Bookmates. It's an ed tech, and I have very limited budget. And I'm always looking for ways to do things myself and not to rely on others and not to have to pay to others to do the work that I want to do. So AI has helped me to do that. And hopefully with this series of study groups, I will be able to learn even more. Thank you, Ariel.
All right, thanks, Ariana. Well, myself, so I am the president of the Harvard Extension Association. I also work for a company called Projector Medical. I'm an AI engineer lead, and I teach a class at the University of Texas at Austin here through the Macomb School, the business schools. And it's a data analytics bootcamp, which we do see all aspects: Python, machine learning, SQL, and AI. And it's something that I'm passionate about, education, and specifically my topic. So I'm a geek. I'm ALM on software engineering. So it's a while ago, about 2003. So it's been a while to get my degree, but I'm still excited about learning. Excited about how do we leverage this amazing technology to do cool things. So let's talk about where we are as far as AI. And this image was generated about a year ago. And the prompt was something like the statue of John Harvard as a robot in Harvard Yard. And this image was generated about a few weeks ago. And do notice the difference in image quality and realism in the two images. And again, this is an improvement of how far, this is a testament of how far the technology has gotten. And again, the one on the left is the one that created a year ago, and the one on the right, just within a year and a half, this whole topic has advanced greatly. And just to give you an idea of how fast it's moving, this is a slide that I showed about 3 years ago in one of my first classes, and how 5 years a difference can make. And on the left, we have a paper from a good fellow, 2014, and this was the state of the art 10 years ago about how AI was able to generate a image. 5 years later, you get this. You get the ability to do more realistic images that even a couple of years ago, 4 years ago, was pretty impressive. And again, now you can do a bunch of other stuff, including things like text to image, text to video. This example is from a video of a Facebook AI back then in 2022, and the prompt was something like a teddy bear painting a portrait. And again, basically just super basic, a few slides about the teddy bear and painting another teddy bear. And this is kind of where we are today. It's again a text to video technology called Sora by a company called OpenAI, and you can see the prompt itself, a movie trailer featuring the adventures of a 30-year-old, blah blah blah. And this is just a snippet of the whole video, but it's about a minute or 2 minutes or so. And you can look at the quality and the amazingness of the movements and another astronaut in the background, and you have clouds. So pretty amazing within 2 years, going from this to this. And again, this is kind of where we are in AI. A couple of last week, I was playing with this tool called audio.com, in which you basically are able to create a song. You prompt it, you specify some tags, and then you say create. And it automatically, within a few seconds, it creates a whole song that includes lyrics, includes music, and I'll paste the link after this meeting. But it's basically super impressive way to create audio and a music. And this is what's really exciting. And this is a funny one, but this is an actual article from the early days of the internet, questioning about the longevity of the internet and potentially labeling as just a passing fad. And it's from Daily Mail. That was about almost 25 years ago. And I was obviously a skepticism about the internet and what was able to do. So if we look at it where we are today, and we look at it through the lens of something like this, we can see how wrong this paper was, but how amazing and how far we gotten. And this image was basically generated by by AI, and the input of it, I would basically just put this input into AI and told it to generate it. And the funny thing is, like, it took me a little while to be able to get the heading correctly, and then you can see the double A. It's an example of some of the stuff that still we're not there yet, but it's pretty impressive. From hey, this thing might be a fad to how we can now basically tell a system to do that. And it's a reminder of how perspective in technology is changing, and how how dramatically can things change over time. And just like before, like anything that has to do digital, when you think about like digital web pages or like something, nowadays assume. And we're not there yet with AI, but I think we are pretty close on getting there, just because of the number of tools and the things around it. Which again, one time a long time ago, the internet was a fad, but now AI is kind of new thing. This slide kind of show you, some of the ingredients that have ignited some of the industries in the past few years. And this is a great paper from a company called Menlo Ventures that was last year, describing the previous technological waves of innovations. And so some of them in our lifetime that we've seen, that we've seen the GUI, the internet, and the ingredients that make it happen. So 1979, the secret ingredient, it's the GUI, and out of that, 36 years later, you get the Macintosh, you get Windows interface. The GUI made computers be able to be personable and user-friendly. You get the internet, which was commercialized around 1991 and rapidly evolved into becoming a global marketplace. You can buy a bunch of stuff now, and a communication medium. We get all the news and all the videos. We're doing this thing right now on the internet. Cloud computing was another one that came out about 1999. And it gave us a scalable and on-demand computing resources, the ability to just, hey, I need a server, put up and running. Companies like ServiceNow and Workday are a product of that. And some of you, most of us been through this wave, which is the mobile wave in 2007, when the iPhone came on. And it gave us things like this company called Uber Cab, now just Uber. The ability to have on-the-go connectivity. And again, the circuit ingredient was mobility. 2017, this is fairly recent. This is machine learning transformers. Something called the transformer model, which gives you the ability 36 years later to have something like ChatGPT. And this is kind of where we are today. And again, this is last year's paper. The 2022 ChatGPT came into place, and who knows what's going to be in 3-6 years. But we know that this is a secret ingredient for our transformative future. And again, I love this slide because it gives examples of each one of those industries and each one of the ingredients and how it has evolved to something that we now, find commonly in our daily lives. And this is the Gartner hype cycle, and this is specifically for mobile. And it basically shows how all these technologies have gone through a cycle of, oh my God, there's an innovation trigger, there's the secret ingredient that we have. There's definitely a peak of inflated expectations. This is going to be amazing. It's going to be fantastic. We go through the illusionment, something that, maybe it's not as cool and as amazing that it's supposed to be. And then there's the alignment, and then the plateau of productivity. And again, this is just for mobile technology, but again, 2007, the classic depiction of what happened. And again, we are definitely on a hype cycle on AI, but 3 or 6 years, we're going to be definitely being in this place here. And the fascinating thing about this topic, it's a couple of things. One of those, basically ChatGPT, was one of the triggers. But one of the things that I see is, the rise of the LLMs. And, this is a graph of a snapshot of, all the landscape about large language models and how fast it has moved. And I created this graph this past weekend. And even yesterday, there were 2 new models that I should have it here. One by Apple and one by Microsoft that are here somewhere here. And on the left-hand side, you can have a way to measure how powerful LLM is. The year, obviously, when it was launched. ChatGPT was somewhere around here. GPT-4 launched, last year. But look at all this innovation on the open source space. And to me, that's what's exciting. The ability to not only, use things like ChatGPT and GPT-4 and all these things you pay for, but also the innovation behind the open source, which is driving innovations in a way that we haven't seen before. And this is one of the things that we can learn together. We can say, hey, how do I install this Llama 3 in my computer so I don't have to use or pay for ChatGPT? And it's not that hard to do. And past few months, it's extremely easy to say, hey, Llama run Llama 3 and basically have a little, not as powerful, but good enough LM in my own computer, which is pretty cool. And this is pretty much, the rise of everything AI, which basically means the introduction to AI-powered innovation. And this is a slide of a website called futuretools.io that lists different tools that are out there to be able to help us with things like upload an image and turn it into 3D animation, Adobe Speech Enhancer that you can upload an audio file and will remove a bunch of background noises and things like that. And again, this last year was about 1,300 tools. So this is, again, based on LLMs, based on other technologies, a bunch of tools out there that we can learn and discover together. So this is like a quick explanation of where we are with AI. And this is how we can learn together. This is the idea of this group and this series. It's going to be a dynamic learning format. We structure around live virtual sessions and independent study groups. We're going to form study groups together, and we'll get the opportunity to join smaller groups to focus and study in a specifically topic. We will meet independently, and we can go as deep as you want, or as we can just meet once. Hey, I want to learn about AI and education. I just want somebody come present it. We can do that. Or hey, I want to learn about how to build AI agents. We can do a study group and do that around that. And again, we have interactive virtual sessions, but we'll rely heavily on online collaboration. We have a LinkedIn group to do that. But again, those are the 4 things that we'll do together to learn. And each one of us is going to have a different role. And I encourage you to look at the roles. And, the first one is a study group lead or moderator. We need people that are willing and able to participate in the organizing the groups and getting people together. And again, it could be a small group, could be a big group doing the topic. You could just be a study group participant. These are active learners and contributors. Again, if we do something like heavily technical, we can say, hey, how do we learn something? And let's meet every 2 weeks, every week, and let's do it together. Or let's just meet once a month or every 2 months about something. You can also be a student if you don't want to get too involved, or you don't have time to be a participant. You just want to come into the seminars that we'll create or the presentations, we can do that. Or you can be a presenter. If you have a topic or an idea, or you just want to present to the bigger group, this group, you can do the same. So this is what we're thinking about, what we can learn together. So we have 3 buckets. We have the technical, which is hands-on experience with cutting-edge technologies. It could be something that is a deep understanding of a specific tool on the technical side. Things like building a rack system, knowing what a rack system is, leveraging agents, or just using open source. Like I said, maybe you want to just learn how to install open source model on your computer. We can do that. The other one is practical, and this is the one that people want to do a lot, which, hey, I don't care about the technology. I just show me how to use this tool for my day-to-day work. How do I leverage this awesome technology for my day-to-day? Again, AI for work, AI for career development, or as simple as, hey, how can I be better at prompt engineering? The ability to talk to the LLMs. And the third bucket, it's the impact on AI on society. And this is one that I personally really interesting about, because not only thinking about the coolness and the practical, but also what does that mean for society, culture, the future. And I showed you the slides previously to kind of show you all the different industries and different ways, because they have changed us so much, not the industries and the economy, but the cultures. And we don't know how AI is going to change us yet. We are pioneers in this thing. We are, we have front row seats on understanding and learning all these new things. But again, it could be things like AI and workforce transformation. How is that going to change? AI and education. And one of them that I think we don't talk enough about is about the emotional aspect and mental health implications of AI. But in both ways, as a human, looking at this thing and saying, oh my God, this thing can generate something, it can be creative. What does that mean? But also in my job, how does that going to affect my job? If all these LLMs can become experts on anything, what does that mean for my expertise? But again, 3 buckets, and we're open to other ones to discover better. Our process, Ariadna, you want to explain the process on this one?
Yeah, sure. So as Ariel said, this AI technology is advancing so fast that we need to do a collaborative learning, because otherwise, if we wait for someone to teach us everything, it will be too late, right? So it's going to be a 1-year process, and we want to have 3 or 4 cohorts, okay? So it's going to start with a serious kickoff, which is this one. Then we want to have 1 week of topic and group proposals, okay? I'm going to explain to you how each of us is going to propose a topic or a study group. And then we're going to spend another week, more or less, on, everyone joining the group that's interested in. After that, we're going to have like a 2-3 month period of study. And then we want to come back and present what we learned, okay? Ariel, if you want to go to the next slide. So the first step is join the LinkedIn page. Okay, so we created a LinkedIn page. It's closed. It's just for this group. We have more than 1,000 registrations to this Learning Together series. So we're going to have very interesting people, and all of us are interested in learning together, right? So join that LinkedIn page. I put it on the chat. And then let's think about what what's my role? Okay, what role I want to have in this Learning Together series. Either I want to lead or moderate a study group, or I want to be a participant or a student. So if I have something that I want to teach, that I want to, you know, share with others, or even a group that I want to moderate, let's study together, let's discuss about this topic. If I want to do that, then I will go into our LinkedIn page and I will start a poll, and I will show you in a minute how. So I will start a poll, I will put all the details there, and then I will wait more or less 1 week so members can join, so I can see who are the people that want to join my study group. After that, I have to contact the members through LinkedIn or directly with DM. And after that, we will start learning together. And if I'm a participant or a student, I want to go to the LinkedIn group and I want to go and search for all the groups that are out there, and then I'm gonna choose 1 or 2 or 3, whichever I want. I'm gonna answer the poll, and then I will wait to be contacted, and then we can all start learning together. Next slide, so I can show you about the poll specifically. Okay, so about the types of groups. If I want to lead a group, it could be, as I said, I want to teach, or I want to be with someone to teach, or I want to be a moderator, meaning that everyone does some research and everyone shares, or I want to present my company, my idea to a group of people that is interested in. Okay, the idea here is that we want to have leaders in the group, because otherwise it's going to be very difficult. So examples of the schedule on the study group, it could be, oh, let's meet every week, every Tuesday at 8 p.m. and let's see who can join. Or it could be every 2 weeks. It could be one time. It could be once a month. So the leader of the group has to set the rules so everyone that is joining knows what to expect. And how deep is the learning? It could be as deep as everyone wants, right? We can go to the roots and be very hands-on and say, okay, we're going to learn and crack this thing, and then we're going to do it together. Or it could be just learn the practical things. Also, we can learn about how to use AI for work. For example, me in my startup, I'm like, okay, I need to create a deck and I have some outline. How can I create a beautiful deck just from an outline? So instead of me going myself and research something, I can join a group on that. And if I find a solution and I want to share it with everyone else, I can go and start a group to share what I found out, because other people might have the same needs. Also, we can read and discuss research papers together if we want to get more into the roots and very deep into AI. Another example is to choose an AI app from the futuretools.io that Ariel said, and we can say, oh, let's learn together about how to use it. And also, as I said, there could be a one-time presentation of your idea, of your company. I've been doing some research about this and I want to share it with people interested in that. So the main thing is that we need to have these 4 different points. We need to choose a topic and make sure that it clearly states that if it's technical, practical, or societal. And this is just to make it easier for the people that wants to join in to have, you know, a good match on what they're looking for. We need to define the type of the group. If it's one teacher, one moderator, if I'm going to present, we have to invite others, and the format needs to be very clear. As a leader, I want to create a WhatsApp group, or I'm going to be using Zoom or Google Meets, or I live in Miami and I want to, you know, meet people and come together in person with other people that live here and try to study and discuss certain topic. But it has to be very specific into the poll. And finally, you need to share it with everyone through the poll. Ariel, can you go to the next one, please? just to show you an example of, so within our group, so there's a, a thing there that is called a poll, and, maybe some of you already know how to use it, but some might not. So you click on that, and then next one.
Am I human? Pay
Okay.
attention, human.
Yeah, I wanted AI to do it when I
Look at
say
the chat,
next
sorry.
one. So when you create a poll, the question needs to be, do you want to learn? Do you want to join this group? That's the only question that you need to put inside the poll. And the options are just yes or maybe, right? It depends on the time. The poll duration, it could be 1 week. Ideally it has to be 2 weeks, because 1 week is for the group formation and the other week is for the members to join in. But you as a leader of the group, you can put whatever you want. Also, you can create polls at any time, but we just want to have like a structure of the first week. However, if 1 month passes and you have a new idea, you can absolutely go there and start a poll. And then when you create the poll, you click on done, and then on the post that you put, it has to go, the topic, the type of group, and the format, and every other detail that you want to share. So this is, a format that is going to be easy for everyone to post and to join. Next one. So it will look like this, and if someone is interested, it will show like the votes, right? Like, hey, I'm interested. So the leader of the group can directly contact that person and say, hey, we're going to start on this day, on that day, or whatever. So this is a very easy way to see how much interest it is in the study group and in the topic. And I think if there's 2 people in the group, it's perfectly fine. I think you can learn with 2 people, 3 people, or more. So it's up to the leader of the group to make those rules. Next one. Okay, so this is just to show you about the survey that we sent. And maybe you have an idea or an interest, and we want to show to you that other people might have the same interest as you. So most of the people that answered the survey want to be students, but we have some study group leaders and study group participants, which is active in the study groups. Next one. Okay, most of the people that answered the survey are interested in the practical aspects of AI. However, there are some that are also interested in technical and societal. This is just to show you what the majority of people think. And if you are thinking about doing a group or joining a group, I think this is a good representation of what we're going to see in the LinkedIn page. Next. About the technical aspects of AI, we have a lot of people that are interested in ChatGPT-enabled solutions. Personally, I'm very interested in that because it's a thing that I kind of understand and that I can apply to what I do every day. However, there are others that might be interested, as Ariel said, in LLMs or in the RAG or in new technologies. We're going to share this presentation with you so you can know what other people think or answer in the survey. On the practical side,
Let's keep on. Here you go. Sorry.
oh, on the societal, I'm sorry.
What?
Oh, wait. On the societal, next one, doesn't matter. Yeah. So how AI is reshaping the world, and I would be very interested to join one of these groups to see, think and discuss about new jobs, and if AI can have rights or not, and all of that. Next one. Oh, this is a practical one. AI for work. Yeah. So most of people want to know how to use AI for work. Same as me. And finally, next one, it's about topics that we got in the survey. And this is very interesting because we got a lot of answers in law, how to apply AI to law. So I did a little bit of research, and there are some startups in that space that are already using AI to review contracts or create contracts, or in other aspects of the law. And it's very interesting because it's how we can make everything more efficient and more, I want to say, democratic. I don't know if someone will call me on that, but it's how to improve what we do and create space to do other things. Also, another example of a group could be, and I can be a leader of that, or I can be a participant, is in startups, right? If I have a startup and I want to use AI, I want to discuss with other founders how they're using AI, how we can do this together, and how we can learn. So this is the end of the presentation. We want to hear your comments, your questions. I hope is clear about how we want to engage in this collaborative learning. As I said, we cannot learn fast enough by ourselves. We need to do this together. So thank you so much for joining. Ariel, do you want to say something else?
Yeah, I know. And again, this is a learning experiment. So, it's up to us how we want to learn. And it's a community of learners. So anything that you want to learn about, let us know.